Hello and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about homeschooling in the state of Delaware. We will start out with the Delaware Department of Education, and you can see the page. It says that the DOE non-public support section is your central source for information about non-public homeschools and private schools in the state of Delaware. So and this is their website, and I thought it was pretty cool, but there's different things you can see. So you can go to their website and check it out if you like. There says to register for non-public school. Some of the other states call it private school, where this one's definition of private school is different than the other states. So it just differs from state to state. All right, now we're going to go on to the next page. And this is the hslda.org, and they have memberships and things like that. So if you think that there's a possibility that you might have some kind of legal problems in the future, I don't know how much their membership is, but it's never a bad idea. And they have pretty updated information. They said there's 3 options for homeschooling. The school required for ages is 5 to 6. Notification required. Teacher qualifications, no. State mandated subjects, no. Assessment requirements, no. Immunization requirements, no. And here's the complete details on their webpage. How to comply with Delaware's homeschool law. And there's a video if you go there that you can watch. And it says a single family homeschool means the child is educated primarily by his or her parents or legal guardians, mostly in their home. So every year on or before October 5th, your homeschool must submit a statement of pupil enrollment as of the last school day in September. The report must be submitted to the Department of Education on a form prescribed by the department accessed here. Report attendance at the end of the school year. Every year on or before July 31st, your homeschool must report end of year attendance information. The report must be submitted to the Department of Education on a form prescribed by the department accessed here. And I'm sure you could get the form from the Department of Education as well. So homeschooling as a multi-family homeschool. A multi-family homeschool means that the children from more than one family are educated primarily by the children's parents or legal guardians, mostly in their own home or in other facilities, in order to establish a multi-family homeschool. You must coordinate with more than one family. So there's that. You must report enrollment at the beginning of the school year on or before October 5th. It must be submitted to the Department of Education. You must report attendance at the end of the school year every year on or before July 31st. Your homeschool must report end of year attendance information to the Department of Education, and they have a form for you to do that. And then there's also homeschooling as a single family homeschool coordinated with the local school district. So if you want to coordinate with the local school district, you can contact them and see if you can do it that way. It looks like it's got a little bit more to it that you can read right there if you want to pause the video. And so there's that. Now we're going to, this is a website from Alaska, because in Alaska, I think it's one of the best states to homeschool, but I just liked the way they had this laid out, because if you've never homeschooled before, you're thinking, well, what do I need? What materials can I use? What types of things can I do that can be included in their education? And if I make a list to put in my portfolio of all the things that I'm going to be using for their education, what do I put? Things like that, you know. And so this might help you. And you can make a list. You can put books, and then you can put the books that you have. Maybe you can add to it later the books that they read aloud or to themselves. You can put textbooks, activity workbooks, and you can get those even at the thrift store or eBay, or if you're in a homeschool support group that swaps books. General homeschooling supplies like notebook, paper, pens, pencils, rulers, white, things like that. You're going to need those. literature, novels, dictionary, things like that. And you can put dictionaries and things like that as part of your that you're using for their education. Social studies materials, globes, maps, those are things that they're using while they're learning because they're going to want to know how to use maps. Art supplies, you can just put art supplies if you want to, or make a list of art supplies that you plan on getting so that you can use them for the school year. I know they have little paints that's like 3 inches tall, I think. At Walmart, they used to be 50 cents a piece, but I haven't bought them in a long time. Math manipulatives like flashcards and things like that. Science supplies like experiment kits. Swimming instructions, YMCA. If you have a YMCA membership and they do things there, so that's homeschool PE, you can count it as piano instruction, tutors, things like that. Weekly science club, field trips. If you're going on a field trip, you can gather things from the field trips. Like some of them might have maps, or some of them just might have pamphlets with information, and you might want to grab one of those to put it in your binder so you can save it to show that you went on that field trip. And if you want to, you can have your student write what they did on the field trip, or what they learned on the field trip, or what they enjoyed the most about the field trip, and put it with it because that's part of their education. We went on Coca-Cola bottling companies for a field trip. We went to McDonald's because they let us go in the kitchen and watch them make hamburgers as one of our field trips. There's a lot of places you can go, and if you're trying to learn about the city or the state that you live in, you might want to go to the Capitol buildings. If you call the hospital, you might can see if you can get a tour and meet with different people that work there. Maybe not during COVID, but you might could meet with different people if you wear a mask and things like that to find out what kind of education they had to get for the different jobs that they have, because there's some really interesting jobs that you can get at the hospital. You might can go to a veterinarian and meet with them and find out about their job and the kind of education they have, and count that as a field trip, because things like that are very educational and they count as schooling. Magazines, if you're getting highlights in magazines like that at home, that's part of your schooling and part of their education. Um, there's all sorts of things. Board games. If you're playing categories or chess or Monopoly or all sorts of different games, there's all sorts of different board games that are educational. And you can go look online. You can go look. Some of them teach you math, some of them teach you spelling, some of them teach you thinking and logic and reason and things like that. So you can maybe have like Friday as a day of board games or something like that. Maybe the second half of the day, or maybe for a couple of hours out of the day. Music lessons, community school courses, foreign languages, art classes. If you have a museum or a place like that that teaches local art classes, some of them have them free once a week or for a low price once a week. There's that would be considered part of their education, and that would be fun. Physical education, ballet, gymnastics, martial arts, things like that. My daughter she took yoga. She went to yoga classes, and that was PE, and that was part of her schooling. So, and then you have online things that you do online, and we're going to get to some things on the internet that you can use that are free resources for homeschooling. So let's start looking. This is mine. We homeschooled once, and I hadn't homeschooled for a while, and I was in a hurry. We were trying to get her caught up on her reading. We decided to homeschool at the last minute, and I needed to keep a record of what she was doing. And we had so many days that we had to homeschool the year, and I needed something simple. So I would just put down day one and the date and what she did, and then I would put the time, and you can see it's kind of sloppy and messy, and it's not as organized as it could be. And I didn't need to put the time that it ended, because the time that it ended was the time that the next one started. But I did. And so I found different things, and we put what she did, like she listened to a Paul Bunyan story. We had discussion about it. She tried to write a poem fast. It was a tongue twister, and she's working on her reading. So she needed I made a note that she needed to do it a few more times over the next week. And it's good to have notes like that in there as well, because it reminds you and it shows that you're paying attention and you're working with your child. She read about Paul Bunyan and watched a Paul Bunyan cartoon and we had discussion. She watched a John Henry video and we had discussion. She learned about tall tales and she learned how to make up a funny tall tale story. And that was fun because it was new and exciting for her because she had no idea. And so there's different things that she did, and this is just one way of doing it, and you don't have to do it this way. You can do it any way you want to. And you can see that some days she went to school for different hours, and sometimes we would end the day with art and drawing, or we might end it with PE. But she was going to school, like she probably only had to do like 4 or 5 hours a day, and we were doing it a little bit longer. So, and she didn't mind it. She was having fun. It wasn't like it was overwhelming to her. If it would have been overwhelming to her, we probably would have broke it up here and there and done less hours and, and done what we needed to do and not for so many hours a day. And there's day 3, August 11th. And that way, when I go to see if I had done 180 days or 160 days, I would have it at the bottom. It would say day. And so if I wanted to do more with her, we could. So, and then if I wanted her to have a half day of schooling and only do 4 or 5 hours, that's all she needed to do. So we could have done that. And that would have been counted as one day. So. And here's some of the things. You can see what I wrote down here. She did computer, vocabulary words, and practice typing during this time. So, and the computer is good for her spelling as well. So, and there's August 13th, day 5. She's reading poems. She's studying maps and continents and oceans. I didn't write down what she did in science, but, and then she's counting and using coins and measuring and telling time and setting clocks. And then she did PE, and I didn't write down what she did in PE. So, see, it could have been better. So you can take this as an idea, and then you can make it better if you want to, or you can do it differently. Some people just take a page and they write down all of the things their child's going to be studying for the year, or they print out what's on the website that they're going to learn, and then they'll go and write the date next to it that they learned it. But to me, it was just easier for me to keep track of, which to you it may not be, because then you got to stop. You've got to stop during the day and type this in or write it down and type it in later to keep up with what they're doing. But I would think you would be keeping up with them. Extramath.org. That website used to be free, and now I think it costs like $2 a year or something. And that was such a fun website. Very educational. So, and here she just did read aloud books. And I didn't write down what it was, and I probably should have. So one of the books she read was she was reading along with and stuff was Heidi, and that one really helped her. But yeah, you can see this is just some ideas for you. If I'm just going to scroll through it a little bit so that you have some ideas, because if you've never done homeschooling, and people will show you from a distance some of the things they put down and what they did, but you can't really see what they were doing from such a far away. So this will just help you. And yeah, she was doing 10 key. This was 3rd grade, I think. So she was doing 10 key and typing and things like that. So, and her reading went up. It was like 5 or 6 levels in the one year. And she was behind at school, and then we put her back in school, and it went up 2 levels in the one year, which put her where she needed to be. But that's just some idea. There she's learning about Greece and things like that. But so you get the idea, and now we're going to go to the next tab. So, and here's a free printable calendar. If you want to put it in your portfolio and you want to keep track of their attendance, you can print out a calendar like this that has the little boxes, and you can highlight the days that you had school or put an X on them. So that way you can count out their attendance that way for the days they had school. And then Khan Academy. I don't know if you've ever seen or heard of Khan Academy, but Khan Academy is free. And it has a lot of different, it goes from pre-K all the way up to college classes. So it should be a complete curriculum. And there it is, free. And then there's Easy Peasy, which is allinoneHomeschool.com, and it's free curriculum as well, and it's very fun. Um, when you go to join it, they'll take you to a PayPal page to try to get you to donate, and you can donate or you can click cancel and skip donating and work on it for free. And if you want to donate later, finding out that you use it so much of the time and you love it, then you can. And it has Bible study on it as well. But it has history, language, art, so you can pick the subjects for your student to do. And even though it looks like it's all on one website, they'll have little underlined blue places where you'll click to go to another website to do math, like extramath.com, I think they have, if they still have it, or to go to places to read books and things like that. So it's very fun. And then there's IXL, and this one isn't free. I think this one is $20 a month, and it goes from pre-K all the way up to high school to 12th grade at least. And I think it has calculus even, but it'll show you the different subjects are up here. You can go click by subject or you can click by grade, and then you can mouse over different things to test to see if I'm not a member, and I can click on this and I can mouse over and if I had a student to test to see if they knew how to do this in the middle or the end of the year. If they keep it this way without even having to join, I can just mouse over to make sure they know the things that they're supposed to have learned in this grade. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Then this is extramath.com, and I don't have a membership right now, but you can see how much it costs. It says it's $2 per student, 12 months of access. So I think that's $2 for 12 months. I don't think it's $2 a month, but I'm not actually positive. But it's math games and it's a lot of fun. But there's other places that have math games. And that one was for, I think, younger children. And this one is purplemath.com, which is for older students. And it's got 5th grade all the way up to Algebra 2 and college algebra. And I used this when I was in college. This was one of the things that we used, and I really liked it. So, and you can click on their lessons in study order or alphabetically to see the kinds of lessons that they have. And as far as I know, it's free. So I really love purplemath.com. And then there is the next tab, At Home Middle School, free online education for middle school students. And it has 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. So language arts, science, math, social studies, and more. So always free, no ads, fees, or registration, which is great because I can't stand the ads all the time. Hippocampus.org is another one. This one is for older students. Middle school to college, free educational resources, and you can see the subjects on this left-hand side. Another one, this is for books, for reading. This is Gutenberg.org. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Project Gutenberg, and it has books. So you can go there to try to find books. And there's page after page. You can click the next page. And all you do is like you click on a book like Peter Pan, and then you say, hey, I want to read this online. So you click that, and there's the book. So you can read the book right there. And it has different ages and things like that of books for students of different ages. And I thought that was just great, because then you don't even have to leave your house to read a book. So, and there's Heidi. I love Heidi. So, and you can click different ways to view the book as well. So, anyway, Heidi's one of my favorites. So, and then there is, this one is another library with books. And it is en.childrenslibrary.org. You can see that address up here. It's called International Children's Digital Library. It has thousands of books. I mean, like over 4,000. Some are in different languages when you get down there, but I think there's still in English here. And it looks like some of them, like they have two of them, but they're actually different. So if I click on A Christmas Carol here and I go to read it, you can see the cover is different. And there's the first page. Okay, and then if I go to the other Christmas Carol book, the cover looks different. So, and it might have been published a different year, but so it looks the same to me. I don't know. But some of them are different. So, and there's the three little kittens. Some of them might have been published a different year, and they might be the same. They're just published a different year. And some of them are different. But so even though it looks like they've got the books there a few times, you can go through and pick out which books you like, because there are thousands of books listed. I mean, it's just incredible. There's so many books to read that, and they have different ages. So they have them for younger children as well as older children. So it's just fun. It's just fun. You don't even have to leave the house to go scrolling through the library looking for books, because there are so many books right here. There's Beauty and the Beast. Okay, now here's Schoolhouse Rock. I don't know if you've ever heard of Schoolhouse Rock, and it's not actually here. This just talks about it, but you can go to YouTube, and so many people have playlists. Schoolhouse Rock. Schoolhouse Rock is so much fun, and we did that when we were children. I'm pretty old, and then my granddaughter, we played that for her, and she loved it, and it really helped her with her multiplications. And they have songs, and you can put that down as part of your schooling when you do your daily log of what you're doing, or your list of things they're learning. You can see this is the subject. So multiplication by 2 or multiplication by 3. So they're not, they're not bored. It breaks it up. And they can sit there and listen to these songs while you're making lunch or cooking dinner or whatever, or breakfast. Unless they're helping you with breakfast like French toast or eggs. Depends on their age. She used to help me cook French toast or cook eggs and things like that when she was younger. And here's the subject, and this is English. So you can see the noun, the verb, conjunction. It teaches you so many things. Adjective, adverb. but it's fun. It's singing and music, and you can sing along, and they get to know them by heart, so it really helps. This one, this is the subject, and they teach you about branches of the government, voting for the president, immigration, the legislative process, and that helps teach youngsters and introduce them to things like the United States Constitution. And so many people don't even know about the American Revolutionary War. And they have one song I remember that teaches them about bills and things like that. And then there's science rock, and the subjects right here teaches them about gravity, the solar system, the skeletal system, things like that, electricity, weather. So they learn so much, and they're all over YouTube, so you can watch them for free, and you just find somebody that has them in their playlist, and a lot of people do. So, and this one teaches them about budgeting money and the budget deficit, stock exchange, using checks, interest and loans, and things like that. It's such, they have like every subject. And I was surprised that my granddaughter, being from such a different generation, actually loved them too. So they're still around, and there's another resource that's free to help you with your homeschooling. And this is another excellent resource. This is called teacherspayteachers.com. And they have a lot of things that are free. They have some things you can buy, and you go on there, and some things you can download in PDF form, and you can pick the grade, or you can probably do it by subject. You can do it by homeschool. I think they have it by subjects, but yeah, there it is by subjects, and then you can pick your price range or whatever. But this just goes on seemingly forever. So if there's certain things that you're looking for and you want to print it out so they can see it, and you don't have it in a book, or you want to hang it on the wall so that they can read it, or you just want to print out like character traits and put it in their portfolio or their binder, so that they can see it and work with it even during the day maybe, and have it there. So I thought that was a fun one. And this one is homeschool co-ops and umbrella schools. You can Google and search for them. It's always good to find homeschool support groups or co-ops, and some of them cost a fee and some of them might be free, but you can contact them to try to get lists of homeschool support groups in your area, or you can look for the co-ops to see what they do, because some of them will swap books and things like that. And a lot of them, like if you have questions and there's more information that you need, maybe they've been doing it for a while and they are very experienced. So there would be people that you can ask, especially high school. High school, there's high school support groups for homeschooling. So anyway, I just did this to try to help someone, and I hope that it does help someone. And please feel free to leave comments. I appreciate your comments. And thank you for tuning in, and have a great day. Bye-bye.